Our passage today takes place a little whiles after what we talked about last week. This when Paul goes to Jerusalem after being prophesied that he will be led away in chains, he is indeed arrested. He does speak in front of James. He does get his offering off to the church there and everything, but he is eventually arrested by the Jewish authorities there and handed over to the Romans. And when he's handed over to the Romans, Paul says, I'm a Roman citizen and I would like to appeal my case to Caesar. And this results in the trip that kind of encompasses the entire end of Acts here, which is Paul going to Rome to stand in front of Caesar and, plead his case. So this is a sort of mock trial that was kind of done because, as Paul had said, this word spread to the governor, and then eventually from that governor, Festus, it went back to Agrippa, King Agrippa, who was technically King Herod Agrippa II, and they decided to have this sort of trial where they would hear his case and see what was kind of going on before he sent on his way to Caesar. And it's during this that he makes this lengthy speech where he explains both his background as well as all that he's experienced. And I think this scene is very interesting for a number of reasons. First is the fact that this is one of the cases within the sort of Luke Acts narrative where the Romans are actually depicted as being, not all that bad. Luke was writing to a Roman audience. He was writing to a Gentile audience. So many scholars have stated that certain details, especially the scene at the very end of this where, Festus and Agrippa were kind of off in private talking, were sort of added in to make Rome look really good because that's who Luke was sort of talking to in his audience. And that might very well be the case. There also might be some truth to this. It does seem like within the Roman law that Paul did not deserve death for what he was doing. And probably any Roman who heard that, whether a governor or anyone else, would have said, yeah, no, he should be let go. But because he appealed to Caesar, he can't be let go in this sort of period. So that part is sort of interesting to me too as well. But the other part, and the thing which I guess which we really should focus on within this narrative, is how, is who Paul is speaking to and really ministering to in this situation. He's very clearly talking to King Agrippa, because he knows that King Agrippa understands everything that's been going on in Israel, understands the Jewish, faith and all the different factions within it. And so he is going to be the most receptive to Paul's message at this exact moment. Festus, is a newer governor. He's not Pilate. He has taken Pilate's position, so he would not necessarily know about what happened with Jesus and all these other sort of details. He might have like some light inklings, but he doesn't have necessarily the full story. So really, out of those two, Agrippa is the one who is most likely to come to Christ. And Paul, not wasting an opportunity, is using this trial to really minister to him. And I think that is an important lesson for us. There's, when you're having the chance to share your faith, you should do so. Because you never know when you're going to necessarily see that person again. Now, I do want to say that, this doesn't mean that you should try to, in every single situation, with every single person you meet, tell them your life story and your testimony and all that type of stuff. I wouldn't encourage that, but you should allow the Spirit to lead you. And when you see an opportunity, you should speak boldly and to that individual and tell them how God has worked in your life. And in doing so, you can minister to that individual and possibly even change their very life. We do not know the result of what happened after this, whether Agrippa came to Christ or what, but it does seem like what Paul had spoken to him at least made him very interested and started him, potentially on that journey. And that is something that we ourselves can do even today. And even if we're in a position similar to Paul's, where, we're maybe under pressure for the things that we're saying and the things that we're ministering to within our culture today. And this is one of the ways that we as well can kind of join with Paul and kind of continue on the ministry that he started all these years ago. Amen. And now I'd like to invite you all to join me for our last worship song today.